Hey everybody, welcome to the 1804 Show, Chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is 1804 History. Yeah, before I start, like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to the 500. I'm almost there. So y'all, please help me out and let's get this episode started. A lot of people have been waiting for this episode, man. People have been hitting me up all day like, when you doing the episode, man? So had to, do a lot of research. So with my research, I was able to um, check out a lot of documentaries and stuff like that. But I wanted to go like a different pace, a different format. So a lot of people won't think I'm biting off them. Even though they helped me out with the research, I want to tell it in my own way so people can understand, a lot of dumbed down folks around here. So I wanted to just drop like a few facts here and there, but also go into a different type of storytelling with this. But yeah, tonight we doing Robert Johnson, the greatest guitar blues singer of all time. But he didn't get there by himself. Legend has it he made a deal with the devil. And when I tell you at the end of the day, it's not worth it. It's never worth to sell your soul for anything, for nothing. And I know that topic and situation becomes trendy because a lot of people like to use that as a clutch or a cop out or whatever. But that stuff really happens. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to really be like at a particular road, like a four-way intersection to meet with the devil. The devil has the ability to come to you when you least expect it. Forget all the things that we saw in the cartoons with the horns and the pitchforks, the goatee when he read. No, the devil can show up in anybody, in any image, any beautiful, handsome image that you could possibly imagine. So y'all be careful. Luckily, I was lucky with my situation, like countless situations where I was smart enough to refuse. And a lot of times, I fell for it, but let's get to the story. Um, he's a Mississippi Delta legend. He was playing like in the 1930s in juke joints. Um, Juke joints was really popular back in them days. Those were the clubs during the Jim Crow era, segregation era, where like musicians will meet up and play guitar, sing the blues, and just have a good time, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like a lot of sharecroppers, a lot of people selling whiskey, prostitution, stuff like that. So he was only born May 8th, 1911, in Hazelhurst, Mississippi. He's one of 10 kids from both his parents. And the craziest thing about that is his father left home when he was a child. So he was raised by his mother and his stepfather. And pretty much his father had left because he was threatened by the Klan. He was going to get lynched. So he moved to Memphis, Tennessee, and everything to begin a new life. So Robert went to go stay with him. So when he was young, he wanted to play the guitar. So he picked up a guitar and he fell in love with it. Because a lot of people back in them days were picking cotton and stuff like that. So he didn't want to pick cotton. He wanted to be a musician. So he traveled all across the South just playing the guitar at juke joints, cotton fields, plantations, just anywhere where it was like a lot of people. And he would audition for musicians all the time. But he was terrible. He was whack. They said that he was so terrible that he would get booed off stage a lot. So one night, while he was at this juke joint, he was trying to impress these two musicians. And he went on stage, started playing the guitar, and he pretty much got booed. He got booed so bad that he pretty much took a year and a half hiatus. So nobody didn't know where he was at. And pretty much after that performance, he walked into like an open field and pretty much was waiting on a ride. So legend has it, he met with the devil and he dropped to his knees and with his guitar in his hand, lifted up like this. And he was just like, please make me the greatest guitar player of all time, greatest blues singer of all time. So the devil had took his guitar, tuned it up, and then he handed it back to him and he said, okay, here you go. You're the greatest blues player, guitar player of all time. But your soul belongs to me. So after that, he went back to that same club where he got booed at and he played the guitar. And it was a standing ovation. And even his mentors, even everybody else who knew that he was terrible was just shocked at the performance and the way that he played the guitar. Like they never seen anybody play like that before. So that's when the legend or the assumption came that he sold his soul to the devil. So even though he was famous and he was very influential in them days, he didn't get the opportunity to enjoy it long enough because he was pretty much a drifter, bouncing from place to place. He was a womanizer, so he would meet numerous of women, so he would have somewhere to sleep. So he was just, a traveling like hitchhiker pretty much. And he was just messing around with like practically anybody. He was a real ladies man. And oh yeah, before all that happened, he met a girl named Sarah. She was 15 years old at the time, and her parents approved him of dating because he was playing the devil music, circular music. And they ran off and got married, and she was pregnant with his first child. So while he was on the road and performing and making money, because he wanted to gain some money before the baby was born. So on his way there to go meet his wife and his newborn child, they passed away. And as soon as he got there, they was already dead and buried in the ground. And her family blamed him for it because he was playing the devil music, blues music, circular music. And he pretty much fell into a huge depression after that. But he continued on performing, he continued to record, and he died with 23 recordings of himself. That was really unheard of back in them days. So he was really like a workaholic despite the circumstance. And also, um, they said that he met up with his mentor named Ike Zitterman. And he lived with Ike for like that year and a half. And they said that they practiced countless hours in the cemetery. And they said that's also how he was able to learn how to play so quickly. But, who knows? I just giving y'all like um, different scenarios here from what I learned. But yeah, he died August 16th, 1938, at the age of 27. And he died, um, well, they said that he was messing with one of the club owner's wives. And allegedly, the club owner um, poisoned his drink. He went on stage and tried to perform. He couldn't do it. He was so sick to the point that he needed to be assisted home. And he died later that night. They said he died from internal bleeding and he had a ulcer in his chest. And then he was buried in an unmarked grave for many years. And that's pretty much how that happened. But yeah, he also was inducted in a Hollywood, not Hollywood, sorry. But he was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996. He won multiple Grammys. He sold millions of albums after his death. So again, he didn't get the opportunity to enjoy the fruits of his labor. Because if we talking blues and we talking about like um famous people of today, he was like the Jay-Z of the blues. And he would have made millions. He would have been like a huge megastar, taking home everything because he influenced and inspired a whole lot of um, blues singers, rock and roll singers, musicians, a little bit of everybody. Even Eric Clapton spoke highly of him, but he died young. He didn't get the opportunity to enjoy that. But yeah, it's just I wanted to just talk to y'all, man. I wanted to just really um explain to y'all about selling your soul. Um, because we all want to be rich and famous. We all want the money, the fame, the fortune, just not to be able to, work hard labor for the rest of our lives. But is it really worth it? Because I bet he was asking himself that when he was on his deathbed, like, what have I done? You know what I'm saying? Because the devil will let you bite into the fruit before it goes sour. And just as a businessman, just as an entrepreneur, as a man that is trying to, chase a better life and seek a better life for myself and for my family, for my loved ones, for a little bit of everybody who believed in me. I'm just deciding to stay independent. I'm deciding to stay um, honest because it's really hard when you doing everything by yourself, and it's days that things become overwhelming and things become very painful when you feel like you have no support, this and that, and you just want your big break. And sometimes a big break can be painful. And I can understand why he did what he did, but he didn't realize what he signed up for. Because he really wasn't a religious man. And this is not like the first time something like this happened. It happened basically to all the people we cheer for. Just imagine what deal they made and what consequences they're going to have to pay once that deal is done. And it don't even have to be music. It can be anything. Anything that you want, anything that you want to be, it's not worth it. And it's crazy because like everybody talk about the Crossroads with Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like I look at that song differently now as a adult. When I was a kid, I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know what it symbolized or anything. But now I knew exactly what it meant. I know now. And I know to stay away from that type of stuff. It's kind of like you lose or you lose situation. And then when you come to like grips of, will I rather work a not regular 9 to 5, or do I want to be rich, or do I want to be famous, or do I want to be comfortable? And you never satisfied after you do something like that. You never sleep. You never get peace after you do stuff like that. You think all these rich and famous people have peace? No, a lot of them have to take drugs. A lot of them become alcoholics. A lot of them become crazy because they made a deal. And you know what I'm saying? Just like your job, like you can get fired or you can go find another job or you can walk out. But when it comes to that, you don't get fired. You don't quit. You know what I'm saying? It's over. It's over. The devil don't have no remorse. You can't buy your soul back once you sell your soul. You can't buy it back. You can't um just like you get a receipt. He got your receipt. And I just look at that Bone Thugs and Harmony video very differently now. Because they made it at the Crossroads. And like I said, you know what I'm saying? It can be metaphorically or it can be physically. But is it worth you spending eternity in hell for fame and fortune or money, popularity? Is it worth it? A lot of people, um, like you notice when certain people, um, just like artists and shit, when they get their big break, when they come out with their first single, they so happy, they excited, they're um ecstatic, energetic. They're happy because their dream came true. They finally got their record deal. But then when you look at them from like 5 years later or 10 years later, they don't have the same enthusiasm anymore. It's like they trying to force happiness, they try to force guilt. It's like you can't wish yourself unfamous. You become infamous, but you don't become unfamous. It's like you stuck. It's like you become like a zombie. It's like you want to give up, you want to die, and this and that, but you can't. You have to lay in the bed that you made. So a lot of people just think just because it looks good doesn't mean it is good. And we have to be really careful by our desires, about our dreams, about our abyss. What you're willing to do in order to get to where you want to be. Because it's not where you need to be, it's where you want to be. Because a lot of people, made that bargain off of their wants and not their needs. And it's a scary thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting choked up speaking about this because, at 27, like I was going through the worst times of my life. And if the devil approached me, you know what I'm saying, I would have told him no. Like I said, you'd be surprised how many times the devil came and visited you or me or all of us when we didn't know that was the devil giving us the greatest deal of the lifetime. you know, and that's why we got to be really careful about the things we wish for and we ask for because you never know. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'd rather work hard. That's why I'd rather grind. That's why I'd rather bust my ass because I want it to be right. I want it to be something that I didn't have to make a deal for. I didn't have to sell my soul for. And y'all entitled to believe what you want, but that shit real, man. You know what I'm saying? They say that's an urban legend, that's an urban myth, but that's real. That really happened. Because it's just crazy. But like I said, you gotta ask yourself, is all the money in the world, fame in the world, and you're not free, you're not happy, you're not at peace, you can't even sleep because of what you've done behind closed doors. Is it worth it? Was it worth it? That's the question that a lot of those people have to ask themselves. And they would say, no, it wasn't worth it. But they can't come out and tell people that because of the oath that they made, the deal that they made. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope I wasn't too long. Hope I ain't bored y'all to death, but I enjoyed talking to you guys tonight. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you want to donate to the Cash App, it's $ the 1804 show. And I will check y'all later. Peace.